Cherry Creek Radio has been furnished a fee for the following program.
The following program does not reflect the views and opinions of Cherry Creek Media.
I have been dreaming a new horizon, and a day it all came true. Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Oh, sweet home, oh, home, sweet home, home, sweet home.
Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Here's your host, Russ McClellan.
Hello, this is Russ McClellan. Thanks for tuning in. What are you doing? Listening to me right now. You should be outside playing with your friends and family and kids. Or not. Maybe you're doing both. Maybe you got some earbuds. That's the beautiful thing about technology, right? It's always a good thing. Nothing ever bad happens from tech. Social media. Never been a problem with social media, has there? It's all old school. Sitting around the fire, listening to the radio. You know? No, or maybe not. The world's changing. Anyway, Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Today, I have no friends. Well, I have JP, my producer. He's my friend today. You know what we're going to... He says, no, he's not. You know what we're going to talk about today? Is I'm just going to talk about some things that I've read about mindset. And what is going on in the world that we live in. 2020 was fascinating. Between politics and riots and police and George Floyd incident and race and a booming real estate market where we just saw more sales than ever in the history of mankind, I think. Fed cut the federal fund rate to 0. It's hard to get below 0%. Interest rates are at an all-time low. Around 2.75 at one point. Man, social media, algorithms, these are all exciting times, right? And we got told which business was essential and which one wasn't. We had polarization across the board. Wear a mask, wear 10 masks, wear no mask. Masks work, masks don't work. I find it fascinating that once upon a time, when I reflect, even in my life, and I'm 50, going to be 52 next month. In my life, I remember an encyclopedia. If you wanted to do a book report, you had an Encyclopedia Britannica. Anybody remember that? I remember cassette tapes. I remember boom boxes, where you actually, to get a piece of music on your cassette tape, you actually had your blank cassette tape in the cassette recorder. When it came on the radio, you had to then, with your AMX cassette tape, record that song, and you'd always be mad if you got the intro and not the song itself. And then just in one generation, bam, here we are, where we believe everything we read. We believe everything we hear, or we don't. We allow ideology to cut us in half. So you might be wondering, why am I talking about all this stuff on a radio show that should be about real estate? It's funny because if I do get a complaint, it's once in a while that I'm not talking about real estate enough, which I think is funny if you actually knew me. But I kind of eat, breathe, sleep real estate, but I also eat, breathe, sleep mindset. And I've been through a lot. In my life, I started out from scratch. Essentially, I was very fortunate to have parents that were amazing. It was really the Leave It to Beaverland. For those people that don't know what that is, you should look it up on YouTube. But it was a good life, right? It was a very simple life growing up. I grew up in Manson, where backyard football and motorcycle tag and I was lucky enough to have a dad and mom that worked very, very hard all day, every day, but were very supportive. I used to joke around and say, if I wanted to be a bank robber and I asked my parents what it would be like, they'd say, man, you're going to be a good bank robber. I mean, there was like very little control. That wasn't always a good thing because I got introduced to failure later on. And as you mature through that, you kind of rationalize failure as a lesson, right? Fail fast, fail forward, fail often, fail forward. You know, and one of the things that I'm surprised about right now is we've grown our company to over 70 some real estate brokers. We have like 5, 6, 7 generations of people. Some of our brokers are more inclined to be born with an iPad and have it in their crib than some of the people that are maybe older, my generation or older, that don't really like computers, don't really like tech. Minimalism is kind of a good thing. I'd rather, be outside fly fishing, or I'd rather be up in the mountains hunting or hiking than I would be staring at a phone. And it's not good or bad. Today I'm just making observations of where are we and where are we going. With the agents that I have, and I believe we have one of the best teams, if not the best team in the business. I'm very blessed. We're only 2.5 years old. Paid out almost, over $3.5 million in commissions last year in 2020 in our second full calendar year to our brokers' families. We also profit share at 49%. I believe in generosity. I believe in commitment. I believe in selflessness. All of these things should be in your business plan. So if I sound a little righteous today, it's probably because I'm feeling a little righteous today, or at least I'm feeling authentic. And I think that word authenticity was maybe a word that in the last few years we've lost. Where it seems like we're always trying to be somebody we're not. I heard a quote the other day that I thought was fascinating. It said something like, you're not who you think you are, and you're not who other people think you are. You are what you think other people think you are. Perception. Well, and it's a real thing, right? What people think about us matters, whether it's in real estate or whether it's in business or whether it's in your personal life. If you're a jerk, right? But sometimes in a judgmental society where in 148 characters we've decided what used to take us 1,000 pages in a book, do we really know? But boy, oh boy, I've experienced it in business. I thought growing up in the rumor mill or with the telegraph game in small town America, where the one good thing about the rumor mill in small towns is you can kind of start your own when you feel like it. Just know, who to tell at the coffee shop and it'll be around town. So it's like counterintelligence. Got to learn that trick when you grew up in a small town. So nobody really knows what to believe, but they believe everything they read. And the funny thing about now is this judgmental society online is dangerous in so many ways. You've seen kids that are locked down that can't go to school. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be authentic here. Like, they're sitting there for the first time, forced to be indoors for a while and forced to be isolated. Causes problems, right? We all know this is not a good situation, right? But at some point, what I am wondering is when does it stop being somebody else's responsibility to make you happy? When do you start looking in the mirror and start wondering what's holding you back and who are you really? Because if that person that said we are what we think other people think we are, in other words, what other people have decided who we are, what we are, etc., is the reality, because we're going to listen to them tell us that's what we think, and whether they think it or not, it doesn't matter. We're living in a non-authentic world. We're not telling people the truth. We're not acting on the fact that we're able to make good choices. In fact, if you really think about it, we're the only species, I think, that has reason, choices, thumbs, all those things we have going for us, and yet we destroy things around us. And we are what some people call LAZY. It's kind of funny. It's like I was talking to a doctor about my knee, and he was saying, some people are very, very overweight and they wonder why their knee hurts. Some people smoke 4 packs of cigarettes a day and they wonder why they can't breathe when they walk to the mailbox. I'm not being judgmental, man. If you want to smoke 4 packs a day, it's America. Do it. I mean, whatever. You want to eat cheeseburgers? Do it. But be careful about being surprised when you're upset about not getting what you deserve because you didn't do the work to get it. And this entitlement culture, is it really going to serve you? Or maybe is it time to start having some self-awareness? Take a step back, take a stand, and decide you're going to change your future and be positive and be selfless and be generous, be forgiving, show some grace, and quit being so damn judgmental of every single thing you see. Maybe it's time to be polite. Maybe it's time to have some manners. Maybe it's time to get off the couch and work your butt off. Like my dad, my mom, my grandparents, and everybody really before today had to do to earn what they got. And quit being a victim. Sometimes that victim mentality is true. Sometimes there are people, obviously, that are oppressed. Sometimes there are bad luck scenarios. But I can tell you, from Michael Jordan being cut from his high school basketball team to Charles Branson with dyslexia, to everybody in between. Colonel Sanders, I think, failed at like 27 businesses before in his mid-70s he finally hit it with Kentucky Fried Chicken. I mean, pain creates change if you let it. Adversity breeds clarity if you let it. Maybe it's time to be nice and take responsibility and maybe think for a change that not everybody has a right. Maybe everybody should have a responsibility. All right. I love being on my soapbox. I love being righteous in February 2021. I'll be right back in just a few seconds with segment 2 of Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan.
Keller